thank you for coming. Your presence here today is greatly appreciated.
Spy on you all the time. They say it's for national security, but they're lying. Oh, I don't believe what the government say. I don't believe it's true. I don't believe what the government says. Leadership. Well, the but you must not use Google to hack yourself.
Black voices that is here today to stand for our justice, because we need it. We need it now, and we need to know that black lives do matter. Black lives are valued and they are credited in the UK and all over the world itself today. We are important to society, we are important to the culture of people living here and for our children here every day, and our nephews and our nieces. As a black mother myself, I will hear each and every one of your voices. I will listen to you, I will see you, and I will be the mother that you need if you don't have one yourself. I will hear you and respect you. I'm sorry that each and every one of us has had to grow up in a world of oppression and be oppressed. I'm sorry that we've had to experience oppression. I'm sorry that our parents and their parents before them went through the same oppression. And I refuse to let our children, our nephews and our nieces go through the same indirect justice that is being put in the world today. I'm not sorry for my anger, my hurt or my tears. I am not sorry for my passion or my feelings here today. I will not apologize for being unapologetic with myself in a world that does not want me to exist. We all deserve the freedom and the acceptance to discover and become the best, most authentic versions of ourselves, without fear of oppression, without fear of violence, without fear of rape, and even without fear of leaving the goddamn house. Sean Monterosa, Justin Howell, Jamal Flood, Eric Garner, Philando Castile, Alton Sterling, Dominic Clayton, Trayvon Martin, Breonna Taylor, Ezel Ford, Ahmaud Arbery, Tony McDade, George Floyd. This is only a small handful coming from America. Shukri Abdi, Sarah Reed, Nunu Cardoso, Julian Cole, Mark Duggan, Rashan Charles, Edson DaCosta, Stephen Lawrence, Belly Majinga. These all happened in the UK, so when people say that racism is an American problem, just look at what is happening here. We are in the UK now, it is happening. And let us not forget in Scotland's soil itself, Sheku Bayo, who died in the hands of police Scotland itself. Too many hashtags to remember, and a death rate so high, it's hard for us to keep up. It's hard for us to catch up with the deaths of these people happening. These deaths aren't new, it's a programmed behaviour, and we as black people have been programmed to suffer and to suppress our feelings of these, because we know that the officials don't want to learn and they don't want to understand us as people. Each and every one of these families globally deserve justice, and until that justice comes, we will not be silenced. No peace, no justice.
No peace, no justice.
And how do we do this? In the words of Malcolm X, by any means necessary. Black Lives Matter does not disregard that all lives matter. It does not disregard any other movement. And people need to realize that in order for all lives to matter, then we need to matter. Our black lives need to matter for each and every one of your lives to matter as well. Malcolm X said, speaking like this doesn't mean we're anti-white, but it does mean that we're anti-exploitation and we're anti-degradation, we're anti-oppression. He also said you cannot separate peace from freedom, because no one can be at peace unless he has his freedom themselves. Scotland is in denial of the overt and covert racism. If you don't believe me, then why have they not taught us about their involvement in slavery in the UK curriculum? We need to be taught it. Scotland is guilty. The UK is guilty of their involvement in slavery. I also want to take this moment to take time to thank everyone that is here as an ally, because without you, they will find reasons to make our cries delusional. Without each and every ally here, they will find reasons to say that we're making it up, that it is not a thing that we're going through. They will find reasons to discredit everything we are saying and here for today. We hear you and we see you, and thank you for hearing us and seeing us too. It means more than you will ever know. Thank you to the allies. Together we can do anything. We can be anyone, and together we will change everything.
It's game on!
And lastly, I just want to stress the importance of black love. Let us celebrate it, my black brothers and sisters that are here today, the mothers, the fathers, the sisters, the brothers, the nephews, the nieces, each and every black person love each other. We are united as one. Let's stand as one, and let's tell each other to love us, because if we can't love each other, how can we teach people to love us? In the words of RuPaul, if you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love somebody else? And can I get an amen up in here? Amen! Black lives matter! Black lives matter! My life matters! Your life matters! Today is the day to make change. We are making change for everyone in Scotland, everyone around the world. As black people and as allies and everyone here united, we stand as one. And we stand as a community that is fighting for justice for all of us. All of us, each and every one of us. Thank you.
Now we're going to have our first speaker for the day. We have Professor Palmer. He's going to tell you all about what he has been doing in Edinburgh and in Scotland. He's written a book. He's probably going to tell you all about it. Google his name, buy the book, educate yourself. Professor Palmer.
Everybody here today, I've got a message from millions of people, black people who were enslaved, and they all said to thank you for coming here today. Thank you. Today is their hope come true. Come true that, in fact, the world will recognize that for no reason other than having a black skin, they were enslaved for hundreds of years, beaten and killed. And what is very sad is that after 300 years, they're still being killed in the United States in a manner where somebody, a policeman, the law, is kneeling on a black person's neck, on his neck, for the sole reason that he's black. Now, how can we justify that?
Colour is not a crime.
How can we justify killing somebody because of a pigment? Because of a pigment. We are all different, but the same. We're all one humanity, nothing less. And if you take anything away from what I say today, is that we're all one humanity, nothing less. And for the future, what you can do for those millions of people who have an average lifespan of a black slave, a black male slave of 20-odd years of age, was 10 years. The average life of a black slave was less than 10 years. That's why they had a slave trade. The slave trade was to replace slaves who had such a short lifespan. And to bring that message home today to us, it is in walking distance. You go up to St. Andrew's Square one day and you look at that statue of Henry Dundas. It's 150 feet high.
Take it down.
And why is he there? Do you know why he's there? He actually said that the slave trade should be gradually abolished, not immediately abolished. He said it should be gradually abolished. And that made it lasted an extra 15 years. 15 years. In 15 years, do you know what that means? 630,000 African people were transported into slavery over 15 years. And the politicians at the time knew exactly what he was doing. Exactly. In fact, one politician described it as gradual abolition. He described it as gradual murder. And we have a statue in the middle of the city to commemorate that man's doing. But there is an issue, as you say, take it down, or should we put a plaque on it? The fact is, I'm on a plaque committee in Edinburgh, at Edinburgh Council, and we have been debating it for 2 years. And we cannot, in fact, agree to put on that plaque that he gradually abolishes, he calls gradual abolition of the slave trade. We cannot agree when it is true. And that is the essence of slavery today. Our politicians cannot agree to the truth that black people are underrepresented in the management of our society. Black people, in fact, have got a greater arrest rate. They're dying at a higher level with COVID-19.
Yes.
It's not genetics. It's deprivation.
Yes.
And if the statue doesn't come down, we want a plaque on it. Or we want a plaque to say the truth. Because we may not think that is important, but we have a lot of street names with slave owners and slave masters on it. One of the reasons why sometimes I say don't take it down, you remove the evidence, you remove the deed. You remove the evidence, you remove the deed. We want a plaque on it to say exactly what he did. And the children at schools should read it. So that, in fact, we realize that, if you look on the national newspaper today, what I said in it is that we are here because two men, their names, one of them has got a statue on the high street called Hume, and another one comes from Germany called Kant. 220 years ago, they said black people are inferior to white people. That's what enslaved black people for 300 years and killed millions. Two men saying something that is completely untrue. And therefore, in fact, when anybody, if you promise me today, anybody in the future that starts a racist innuendo in your presence, tell them, go away. And if today, in terms of what I've said, we can do that, then we will have done more than governments have done for 250 years. And finally, I don't want to take up too much of your time. You've got a lot to do today. And thank you for coming. Your presence here today is greatly appreciated by those people who were slaved and beaten to death over hundreds of years. And I've seen the act that when the slaves were emancipated in 1833, the Act of Emancipation says the slave owners were given 23 billion for their slaves who were property. And the act says they were entitled to it. Slave owners were entitled for the lives of people as property. What we must do today is make sure that for the future, that we don't live in a society that believes it can kill somebody over 8 minutes and 40 seconds in the middle of the world to see and reckon it's okay. It's not okay. And finally, thank you very much for coming. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart on behalf of all those people who were killed for no difference other than for a pigment. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Professor Palmer, thank you. You got rhythm. So, I know a lot of people are sitting, and I know it's a bit cold. We are in Scotland, we're used to this, but I want us to just get active for a few minutes so we warm up, okay? Right? When the song comes on, bust your dance moves, all right? Come on!
I just want to say a few words. Okay. My name is Courtney Stoddart. I am a poet from Edinburgh. My mum is black and my dad is white. Therefore, I stand between two worlds. First of all, I want to acknowledge the courage of everybody for coming out here today. To my black brothers and sisters, oppression of black people is not a new story. We have been with this pain and with this trauma for a very long time. To my white brothers and sisters, keep recognising where you stand in this struggle. We are not simply fighting individual acts of prejudice. We are not simply fighting racial injustice in the US. This is about structural racism and privilege built on a system of corruption right here. And times like these can create further divides, but they also give us the greatest opportunity to come together. So let us manifest that here today. So I'm going to be performing two poems. The first poem is called Denial. Denial. I am a powerful tool. I can make you ignore anything that you choose. Deny that pain came from the bruise. Deny all hatred from its very roots. Disguise the lynch mob and hide the noose. Pretend the berry was not hung, strange fruit. Burn all the pictures of the children smiling, while behind them the black man hung, dying. It may have been slow, or it may have been instant. Depends if the neck snaps with the resistance, but Who cares you took the pictures from a distance? Act now like you don't continue to colonize. Act now like you don't see the tears in my eyes. Your denial is there to save your pride, though. My denial is for my very survival. Pretend that I don't see the weight on me. Feel the burden of race as it's placed on me. Be polite and say thank you, please. Say bless you as you sneeze. Pretend that we both don't know that we're different. Like we both don't have a completely different take on the world. Like we both don't know how your privilege occurred. Like we both don't know the white man said first came his word. So I'll adopt your ways to move beyond a slave in chains, beyond waves and a ship. And I'll pretend that you're not still cracking that whip, and you'll pretend that I carry a chip on my shoulder. Damn right I carry a chip. It's the size of a boulder, older though I may be. Still, you try to separate me from my dignity. White people twerking right in front of me as if we have not been doing that for centuries. So, should I be polite and say, go Miley? In preservation of your white fragility, in resurrection of white Christ on me, well, please tell me, where does his judgment be? For I feel I bear the weight of the cross on me. You steal with the state and the cost is on me. Don't cross me in debate, your lies are lost on me. You seem shocked when I say it as though it's a mystery. For the sake of fake colonial history, it doesn't take a genius to work it out. Please tell me now to which Lord you are devout. Please tell me now how you afford your big white house built on foundations of denial, because you used my ancestors for your financial survival. Where does your inheritance come from? Is it tea, coffee, gold, or coltan? You can try to deny it, but I know this was your plan. Daylight robbery and your white snobbery, it's your philosophy that you placed on me. Ever so politely. And I'll try to deny that white righteousness isn't the price for this, isn't the cost of freedom. Because it seems to me the cost of freedom, mental or otherwise, is denial. And white capitalism is using it for its very survival. White state snakes in. Like a burglar, he breaks in. He rapes children, raises stakes on skin, places rope under chin, and hangs. Thank you.
I'm so proud of you. So proud. Give yourself a round of applause for being here for the start. I can say I'm very qualified to talk about race hate in Scotland.
Why not?
From the day I was born, I was left in the hospital because of the colour of my skin. 5 years old in Easterhouse, Glasgow, painted white at 5 years old. When I was 14, beaten near to death in a police van in Shettleston in Glasgow. I was saved from one cop who said, "You're killing him." I survived that. When I seen George Floyd, it brought back everything, but we'll get to him later. During the 90s within Edinburgh, I seen many things. I seen football casuals attacking Asian shopkeepers, bullying and beating and killing African people. Myself and many other brothers, including Scotty, who's here with his family, stood up against them. And I'm letting you all know here, it ends now. If you live in Edinburgh, and if someone's attacking you and the police do not respond, call me. Call me. There's many young brothers I see here. I see my godson Tyrone with his brothers. They will back me. Many others will back me. But you make sure you call me first. Because we will not live in fear anymore. By any means necessary. Catch me on Facebook, sweetheart. So we are in the 90s and then we move in and I see the Scottish referendum coming up. I was at a dinner party, this posh Tory said to me, "So Joe, if the Jocks win this, will the Blacks rise up next?" That stuck in my craw. I thought, you know what? This is going to end. But who gets into power? We all focused on Trump, focused on Boris. He's just as bad, just as racist, just as evil. You with me? We have our own evils to fight here. But I'm just going to ask for it to be said 3 times. George Floyd! George Floyd! George Floyd! Thank you. Seeing all these races here, every nationality, every skin colour, every gender, every sexual orientation in one place for one purpose breaks my heart with joy instead of sadness. You guys are amazing. Because without news, this doesn't happen. They said, "Don't do this." Hell no! Do this. I'd like to thank Sister Cynthia, who got in touch with me recently to come here. I'd like to thank all the people who have went out of their way, because you have to now not let this be a little Sunday picnic parade. That's the most important thing. Organise. Connect with other people. There's many things being set up on Facebook now. When you looked at the difference of the Arab Spring when they used social media, perfect. When you're being attacked, use your phone. Your camera is an ally and a weapon against racists. Record that evidence. If we did not see George Floyd die on camera, would we be here? No, it happens every week. A black person is killed every week in the UK. Where is that evidence? Use your phones, not your fists. Use your brains. But as I said earlier, if you fear the police will not protect you and they will not answer to your concerns of safety, call me, connect with me, and I will make sure that someone is there. If I've got to stand at your door to protect you, if I've got to walk you to school, call me. I'll be there. Thank you all for being here today. I'm normally a musician, but the time for singing is over today. And I'm not playing any records either.
I thank you all from the bottom of my heart, Edinburgh. I love this city and I love you for coming here. Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Rise! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! No justice, no peace! No peace! Edinburgh, I love you. Thank you.
It's one thing that I'm a black person, but I'm also a mother, right? And I am speaking for people who care for people as children, whether you have given birth to them physically, whether you carry them in your heart. It would break your heart if your child was hurt or injured or abused, and you would want to do something. You would want your child to be protected. You would want justice, right? Yeah. So it's not just older people who are going through this, right? Our next speaker is a young person from Edinburgh. I want you to listen to what he has to say and to realize that there are young people who are victims of racial abuse who do not have the voice in most times and sometimes don't have assistance. Okay? So if you see somebody needing help, I would urge you to step in and help a young person out, okay?
Hi, my name is Tendai Jr. or TJ. When I was 10 years old, I walked into a shop with my mom and I laughed as any child would do. And someone came up to me. He's older than me, more than 5 years older than me. And what did he do? He came up to me, started calling me a monkey, making monkey noises at me, shoving bananas in my face. And I'll tell you what the police did. They made him say sorry for all of that. The police don't do anything. They do things that help us, but it isn't enough. You get to walk the street free, whilst my kind are behind bars despite our pleas. And there's evidence that actually proves they're innocent, but the police just say they've misplaced it. Let's face it, this kind of manipulation is basic. All kind are behind bars because the crime is sought in process, because there's a project that make my kind look bad on purpose, so we can carry your heavy burdens. Hello, Edinburgh! Wow! They say there's a pandemic. We say we've got a bigger pandemic. That's what racism. We need to find a vaccine for racism first. We need to find a vaccine for racism first. I came to live in Edinburgh 25 years ago. 25 years ago, the same shit is still happening today in 2020. First of all, we shouldn't forget the guy who's brought us together. So I would say his name! Say his name! I can't hear you! Say his name! How many times? How long should we have to cry? When are you gonna hear us? When are you gonna hear us? Scotland, they say, okay, we've got a fair and equitable society. We say it's not fair. It's not fair as long as that house over there doesn't have a black face to represent our voice. You cannot represent me. You cannot represent my children. How would you know what racism feels like? So in 2012, when I was with my sisters in New Borough 5, having my sister's party in a pub, 50 white people chased us out of that village, saying, monkeys, get out, in 2012. We don't need that venom among us. We don't need people who gonna destroy our children's future like that among us.
representation. We're coming to your schools. We need representation. We're coming to your organizations. We need black CEOs. We need to make our voice heard. I can't believe that you guys have come in such large numbers, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. But this fight doesn't end here. This has to continue, so whenever you're going back home, this is not just a show. We didn't come here risking our lives to COVID-19 to just end here. The fight goes on. The fight starts now. Black Lives Matter!